Chapter 1: The Awakening. In a city where freedom is only a distant memory, Elena lives a monotonous, guarded life. Every day is a repeat of the last, with the shadow of the government ever present. She works in a drab office, surrounded by colleagues who, like her, have learned not to ask questions and to follow the rules without question. One night, upon returning to her small apartment, Elena finds an envelope with no return address in her mailbox. Intrigued, she opens it and discovers a handwritten letter. The message is short but impactful. Elena, the truth is hidden in plain sight. Look for the shadow. He will show you the way. Confused and scared, Elena puts the letter away and tries to forget the incident. However, curiosity and a sense of unease begin to grow within her. Who is the shadow? What truth could be so dangerous as to be hidden? The days pass, and Elena can't stop thinking about the letter. One night, she decides to follow the instructions and heads to a place mentioned in the letter. An old abandoned theater on the outskirts of the city. The once majestic building is now in ruins, but it still retains an air of mystery. As she enters, Elena feels a mix of fear and excitement. The theater is almost completely dark, but a dim light at the back of the stage catches her attention. She approaches cautiously, and suddenly, a masked figure emerges from the shadows. "Welcome, Elena," the figure says in a deep, calm voice. "I am the shadow. I have been waiting for this moment." Elena feels a chill run down her spine. In front of her is the man who can change her life forever. The shadow offers her his hand, and, with a gesture of trust, Elena takes it, ready to discover the truth and face the fate that awaits her. Chapter 2: The Mask. Elena finds herself facing the shadow, a masked man whose presence is as imposing as it is mysterious. The mask he wears hides his face, but his eyes reflect an unwavering determination. "Who are you?" Elena asks, her voice shaking slightly. "I am someone who has seen the truth and has decided to fight against oppression," the shadow answers. "But it is not about me, but about what we can achieve together." The shadow leads Elena through the abandoned theater, revealing a secret hideout filled with documents, maps, and communication equipment. It is a makeshift but efficient operations center. Here, the shadow and his small group of followers plan their moves against the regime. The government has kept the people in the dark for too long. The shadow explains as he shows Elena a map of the city with various points marked. They control information, manipulate the truth, and eliminate anyone who dares to question them. Elena listens intently, feeling her initial fear transform into a mix of curiosity and determination. The shadow hands her a dossier with information about the atrocities committed by the government. Irrefutable evidence of corruption and abuse of power. "We need someone like you," the shadow says. "Someone who can help spread this information and awaken the people. Are you willing to join our cause?" Elena hesitates for a moment, aware of the danger involved. But the injustice she has witnessed and the shadow's passion convince her. She nods firmly. "Yes, I am willing," Elena replies. "I will do whatever it takes to free our city." The shadow smiles behind his mask and hands her a small communication device. "Welcome to the resistance, Elena. Together, we will bring down this regime and return freedom to our people." With her new mission clear, Elena prepares to face the challenges to come. The fight for freedom has begun, and she is ready to play her part in this epic battle. Chapter 3: The Resistance. Elena quickly adapts to her new life in the Resistance. Each day is a mix of training, planning, and executing small missions aimed at weakening the regime. The Shadow and his team teach her how to move stealthily, how to handle secure communication technology, and how to defend herself if discovered. One night, during a meeting in the abandoned theater, the Shadow introduces Elena to the other key members of the Resistance. There is an ex-soldier named Marcos, an expert in military tactics. Ana, a brilliant engineer who handles the technology, and Javier, a journalist who has risked his life to document the government's atrocities. Our goal is simple, the Shadow says as he points to a map of the city. We must expose the truth and mobilize the people. But to do that, we need more than words. We need actions that show that the regime is not invincible. Elena and the team begin planning a series of strategic sabotages. Their first mission is to disrupt a government television broadcast, a key propaganda tool. Ana and Elena infiltrate the television station, while Marcos and Javier handle outside security. Elena feels her heart pounding as she moves through the dark corridors of the station. With Anna's help, they manage to access the control room and replace the official broadcast with a message recorded by the Shadow, revealing the truth about the regime. The government that promised to protect you is the same one that oppresses you. It's time to wake up and fight for our freedom. The mission is a success, and the reaction from the population is immediate. People begin to question the official narrative and seek more information. The spark of rebellion has been lit. However, success also brings with it greater risk. The government intensifies its pursuit of resistance, and the lives of Elena and her companions become even more dangerous. But Elena's determination only grows stronger. She knows that they're on the right path, and that, although the path is difficult, freedom is worth any sacrifice. Chapter 4: The Sacrifice. The resistance has gained strength and support among the population. But the government does not sit idly by. Repression intensifies, and the streets of the city are filled with soldiers and surveillance cameras. The tension is palpable, and each mission becomes more risky. One night, during an operation to sabotage a power plant that supplies government buildings, something goes terribly wrong. Marcos, the ex-soldier and one of the most valuable members of the resistance, is captured. The news quickly reaches the abandoned theater, where Elena and the others await his return. "We have to rescue him," Elena says determinedly. "We can't leave him in the hands of the government." The Shadow nods, but his expression is serious. "We know what they will do to him if we don't act quickly. But we also know that a rescue mission could endanger all of us and the cause." The team is divided between those who want to rescue Marcos immediately and those who believe they should stick with the original plan so as not to risk everything. The final decision rests with the Shadow, who, after much thought, she decides that they cannot abandon one of their own. Elena, the Shadow, Ana, and Javier prepare for the rescue mission. They know that time is crucial and that every second counts. They infiltrate the prison where Marcos is being held, using all the tricks and skills they have learned. Inside the prison, the atmosphere is oppressive. The walls are lined with cameras and armed guards patrol the hallways. Elena and the Shadow move stealthily, avoiding detection. They eventually reach Marcos's cell, who is visibly injured but still alive. "I knew you would come," Marcos says with a weak smile. Elena and the Shadow help him up, but just as they are about to escape, an alarm sounds. They have been discovered. The guards quickly approach, and an intense battle breaks out in the prison hallways. Amidst the chaos, Marcos realizes that they won't be able to escape altogether. "You go," he says urgently. "I'll slow them down." "We can't leave you," Elena replies, but Marcos insists. "It's the only way. If I don't, we'll all die here." With heavy hearts, the Shadow and Elena accept Marcos's decision. He stays behind, facing the guards with desperate bravery, while the others manage to escape. The rescue mission has been successful, but at a devastating cost. Back at the theater, the Resistance mourns the loss of Marcos. His sacrifice will not be in vain, and his memory strengthens everyone's resolve. Elena, in particular, feels a new responsibility. She knows that the fight for freedom requires sacrifices, and she is more determined than ever to see the mission through to the end. Chapter 5: The Revelation. Elena and the Resistance are mourning the loss of Marcos, but his sacrifice has lit a flame of determination in all of them. The fight continues, and each day brings new challenges and dangers. However, Elena can't shake a nagging feeling that there's something else she needs to uncover. One night, while going through the documents Marcos had collected before his capture, Elena finds an intriguing clue: a series of coordinates and a name, Project Aurora. Determined to unravel this mystery, she takes the information to the Shadow. "What is Project Aurora?" Elena asks, showing the coordinates. The Shadow looks at the documents with an expression of surprise and concern. "It's something the government has kept secret for years, a project that, if revealed, could change the course of our fight." They decide to investigate the coordinates, which lead them to an underground facility on the outskirts of the city. With the help of Ana and Javier, they manage to infiltrate the complex. What they discover there is shocking. A series of laboratories and archives documenting illegal experiments and unimaginable abuses of power. Among the documents, Elena finds something that takes her breath away: proof that her own family had been victims of the regime. Her parents, whom she believed to have died in an accident, had actually been eliminated by the government for opposing its policies. The revelation is devastating, but it also gives Elena a new reason to fight. With tears in her eyes, she vows to avenge her family and free her city from tyranny. "This is bigger than we imagined," the Shadow says as they review the documents. "The Aurora Project is the key to exposing the government and mobilizing the people." With this new information, the Resistance plans a series of actions to reveal the truth to the public. They use the documents and evidence they have found to create a massive information campaign, distributing leaflets, videos, and messages everywhere in the city. The reaction of the population is immediate and powerful. People are beginning to rise up, demanding justice and freedom. Protests are multiplying, and the regime is becoming more and more cornered. Elena, now more determined than ever, becomes a key leader within the Resistance. Her bravery and determination inspire others to join the cause. The fight for freedom has reached a point of no return, and Elena knows that, no matter what happens, they will not stop until the city is free. Chapter 6: The Final Battle. The city is on the brink of revolution. Protests have turned into uprisings, and the Resistance has gained the support of thousands of citizens. The government, desperate to maintain control, has deployed all its military forces, but the determination of the people is unwavering. Elena and the Shadow know that the time has come to launch the decisive attack. The resistance has carefully planned this operation for weeks, and now they are ready to take on the heart of the regime, the government palace, a symbol of oppression and corruption. On the night of the attack, the city is silent, as if holding its breath. Elena, the Shadow, Ana, Javier, and the rest of the resistance members gather in the abandoned theater for the last time. The Shadow addresses them with a firm, hopeful voice. Today, we fight not only for our freedom, but for the future of all who have suffered under this regime. No matter what happens, we must remember that our cause is just and that freedom will always prevail. Elena feels a mix of fear and determination as she prepares for battle. She knows that many will not survive, but she also knows that there is no turning back. With a final hug to her comrades, she heads to the front of the attack column. The resistance moves with precision and coordination. They use underground tunnels and secret routes to approach the government palace undetected. When they finally emerge, confrontation is inevitable. The government forces are ready, but the resistance is prepared for anything. Elena and the Shadow lead the attack, advancing through enemy lines with fierce bravery. Explosions and gunfire fill the air, but the resistance continues to advance, fueled by hope for a better future. Amidst the chaos, Elena finds herself face to face with the leader of the regime, a man who has caused so much suffering, with a mix of rage and justice. She faces him, knowing that this is the decisive moment. "Your time is up," Elena says firmly. "The people have spoken, and we will not be silenced." The leader of the regime tries to resist, but the force of the resistance is unstoppable. With a last-ditch effort, Elena and the Shadow manage to disarm him and take control of the government palace. The regime flag is torn down, and in its place, a symbol of freedom and hope flies. The battle has been won, but at a high cost. Many have fallen, and the city lies in ruins. However, the victory of the resistance marks the beginning of a new era. Elena, the Shadow, and the survivors pledge to rebuild the city and establish a fair and democratic government. With the dawn, the city awakens to a new day. The shadow of oppression has been lifted, and the light of freedom shines brighter than ever. Elena knows the fight is not over, but she is ready to face any challenge that comes, knowing that the sacrifice of so many has not been in vain. Chapter 7: The New Dawn. With the regime overthrown, the city begins to awaken to a new reality. The streets, once filled with fear and oppression, now vibrate with hope and activity. Citizens, inspired by the courage of the resistance, come together to rebuild what was destroyed and to create a more just and free society. Elena, the Shadow, and the other members of the resistance work tirelessly to establish a new government. Popular assemblies are organized where everyone has a voice and vote, and leaders committed to transparency and justice are elected. The city, once plunged into darkness, begins to flourish with new ideas and community projects. Amidst these changes, Elena reflects on the path taken. He remembers those who sacrificed their lives for the cause, like Marcos, and feels a deep gratitude and responsibility. She knows that the freedom won must be protected and cultivated every day. One day, while walking through the rebuilt streets, Elena comes across a group of children playing. Their laughter and joy are a reminder of the future they have fought for. The Shadow, now without his mask, joins her. His face, though marked by the scars of battle, reflects a peace and satisfaction he has never shown before. "We have achieved a lot, but there is still much to do," says the Shadow, looking at Elena with a smile. "I know," Elena replies, "but for the first time in a long time, I feel that everything is possible." Together, They continue to work to strengthen the new society. Education, health, and social welfare programs are implemented, ensuring that all citizens have access to the opportunities that were previously denied to them. The city becomes a beacon of hope and an example for other communities still fighting for their freedom. The legacy of resistance lives on in everyone's memory. Monuments and murals stand in honor of fallen heroes, and stories of their bravery are told from generation to generation. Now a respected leader, Elena continues to inspire others with her example and dedication. Over time, the city is transformed into a place of peace and prosperity. The shadow of oppression has been replaced by the light of freedom, and the sacrifice of so many has not been in vain. Elena knows that the fight for justice is an ongoing effort, but she is ready to face any challenge that comes, knowing that together they can overcome any obstacle. The new dawn has arrived, and with it, the promise of a bright and free future for all.